All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Archak Kodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and a sincere shalom to the elect out there teaching this truth in all honesty and sincerity in these last days. Okay? And, this chart says it all. This proves that this war in Iran is not ending anytime soon. Okay? It's just not. And this is the proof right here. Okay? It says U.S. oil exports have surged to a high of 6,000 barrels per day. Now, that means 6,000 K when you look at the chart. So that's technically over 6 million. Okay? And you look at this chart, and oil exports from the United States are at an all-time high. So, what reason does America, have to end this war if they're selling all this oil? Okay, what reason do they have to end this war? They're selling all the oil. All this oil, okay? Because if things go back to normal, then then that line is going to go straight down, okay? It's going to go straight down. All right? So they really have no reason to, man. Because America is changing as an empire, okay? It can no longer expand, okay, as an empire. It can no longer expand. It has to find ways to keep its empire afloat, okay? And a lot of times when you look at the history, when you look at the path America's going down, okay, they resort to some dirty tactics. A lot of these empires, when they fail, right, and they try to stay afloat, okay? So America really has no reason to stop this war, man. Right? The oil companies are getting rich, and we're getting poorer because they're not gonna pass the savings down to us. They're not gonna pass the savings down to us, man. Okay, it's kind of like, well, let me say this first, right? Based on my research, okay? United States oil needs prices at about $50 to $60 a barrel in order to export and be profitable. Now, other countries can refine and export oil at much cheaper prices and still be profitable. So that is why the U.S. needs these elevated oil prices in order to make money, because then there's no reason to export the oil or to continue expansion and drilling and refining, okay? Because if it goes back down to $50, $60 a barrel, all right, oil companies ain't gonna make no money. All right, and we know that the U.S. dollar is heavily tied to oil. Okay. Now, there's been some experts out there that have said that have pretty much agreed with this, right? That have gone out and said that the only way that the U.S. is going to accept an end to the war or a total and complete ceasefire is if Iran starts selling oil in dollars. Okay? And that ain't gonna fucking happen, man. That is absolutely not going to happen. Okay? We know this place. This is the hammer of the earth. This place ain't gonna do that. This place ain't gonna do that. We know that it's not. Okay? One of the main reasons they went in there was because of the oil. I mean, it was because of the 1948ers, of course. But anybody who tells you that this ain't about the oil is completely full of shit, and you can tell by this chart right here. And we know how Trump is. Trump is all about the money. Okay, he's a businessman at heart. He's a businessman first and a politician second. All right? And you know, you see Trump taking shots at NATO, saying NATO didn't help us at all. And you look at what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, and who is it affecting? Who's it affecting the most? It's affecting slacking allies in NATO. Okay, that's who it's affecting the most. The price of natural gas is going to skyrocket. Okay, price of gas is skyrocketing already. All right. And here comes America saying, you know what? The hell with Iran. Just come buy oil from us. All right? Just come buy oil from us. And you gotta sit there and wonder, you know, what is Russia and China thinking about in the background? Like, what actions are they going to take in the future? Because China is now buying a good amount of oil from the United States at much elevated prices. Okay? In China, I did some research and posted it in our group chat the other day. China subsidizes the cost of gas. So gasoline is capped in China. Okay, the price of gasoline and oil is capped in China. That's because the government foots a lot of the cost. So they're making the government pay these elevated prices. Okay, the Chinese government pay these elevated prices. Now, we've been hearing that they still get some oil from Iran, but it's not like it was before. Okay, so this is a big play by America, but it's affecting their allies. It's killing Japan's economy, right? They're going to have to lower rates. Okay, Australia is saying that there's going to be shortages. Europe is saying that they may have to do rationing. Okay, and these are some of America's closest allies. But if you ask America, they would say, who cares, right? Who cares? That's because that's their mindset, right? This is Zephaniah 2:15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. Okay? And that's the attitude of America. It's very proud. Okay, it doesn't give a shit about its allies. It doesn't give a shit about the rest of the world, as long as they're doing okay. And that's the stance that they're taking these days. See, America actually used to have, back in the 90s and early 2000s, America used to actually have a very good relationship with its allies. Okay, almost to the point where it seems like some of these nations were taking advantage of Babylon the Great economically. Okay? It almost seemed like they were taking advantage of them. But now, America is pretty much taking the approach of it's my way or the highway, and if you don't like it, we don't care. Okay, we don't care. Okay? This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, and it is dwelling carelessly. Look at these Americans, man. Look at these Americans, man. They're totally lost in the sauce. They're some of the most stupid, most brainwashed, and just ridiculously wicked people out there, man. All right? That said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How is she become a desolation? And that kind of talk from Trump, where he's saying, where he's saying things like NATO didn't help us any part of the way, and he even told them, look, if you want them to open the Strait of Hormuz again, get out there and get your own oil. Here it is, America caused this shitstorm. And then they're telling these other nations, well, if you want things to go back to normal, you got to get involved, buddy. Okay? And that's a big step. That's a big step for a nation when they decide to go to war. Okay? It's not easy for a lot of these other nations, man. Even though they are Edomite nations, they seem to care about what their people think more than America does, man. America doesn't give a shit. They'll send that. They don't give a shit about their own men and women in uniform, so-called men and women in uniform. They don't care about their military. They'll send those fuckers out to die and just replace them with others. As long as the expensive toys are there. They don't care. Alright? How has she become a desolation? A place for beasts to lie down in. Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. Okay? And all these nations, man, they can't wait to get a piece of this place. Even though they might be acting like soft and shit. Okay? Eventually America's going to do something to where its own enemies are going to turn against it, man. And you could see that seed being planted because they're upset. Everybody's going to be paying more. And it's going to... And this energy crisis is going to affect America's allies a lot more than it's going to affect America. Okay? See, I mean, just look at this. Just look at this shithole of a country, man. Here it is. They're making all this money selling all this oil, and they ain't passing it. Ain't nothing being passed down to the average American because they're extorting you too. Okay? They're extorting you too. This is Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay? And they're and these merchants, man. Actually, let me I'll just read that again. Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Okay? And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Okay? So they fell for it. They fell for the bait, right? They fell for the bait. And now they realize that America doesn't give a shit about its allies. Okay? It doesn't give a shit. It doesn't give a shit about anyone who's neutral, and it doesn't give a shit about its enemies or its allies. Okay? So all the kings of the earth have committed fornication with this place. But the time is coming. The time is coming, man. And the Lord is going to put the spirit on NATO and America's allies. Okay? The 10 horns, okay, to come against this place, man. Alright? Because basically what America is doing now is it's using its military to extort resources. And it began with Venezuela, and now it's in Iran. Okay, they're getting control over the world's energy. Alright? they're creating a crisis and making money off it, crazy amounts of money off this crisis, man. And you got these stupid redneck patriots that think, oh, America's making money, off the oil. Yeah, but you're paying more. Your mama's paying more. Okay, everybody you know is paying more. All right, just so that the money funnels into the pockets of a few elites. Okay, but see, they don't understand the scriptures. These Christian redneck Americans, man, they don't understand scriptures. Okay, they don't understand that America's allies are going to turn against it eventually. They're going to get sick of this shit. All right, they're going to get sick of the threats. They're going to get sick of the nonsense. Okay, you're going to get sick of the oppression. Okay, they want to be part of the club. Okay, but America's saying, oh, you can be part of the club, but only if you do it our way. Oh, come buy 50% inflated oil prices from us, because we just jacked your supplier. We just jacked your supplier up. Okay, and another thing that's proven that this war is not going to end. Okay, or at least the blockade isn't going to end. Is America said that they're sending for this next strike in Iran. They're saying that it's going to get to the point where they're bringing over weapons that they've never used before, weapons that have never been used in war before. Okay, and here it is. They're saying all this shit, and the reports are saying that Iran is starting to want to negotiate some kind of ceasefire with America, but America keeps turning down the conditions, man. Okay, because the condition is going to be sell oil in dollars. That's it. That's all it's going to be. Sell oil in dollars. They're not going to accept anything else. This is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Okay? So these 10 horns, these EU nations, these NATO nations, okay, they're going to eventually hate this whore, man. They secretly hate it now. Okay? They secretly hate it now. Alright? But eventually, they're going to get sick of this shit, man. And they're going to expose this beast and turn on it. Okay? Because America can't fight the world by itself. Especially so-called nuclear war. Okay, with the ICBMs, man. And that's why the Lord is creating this division. Let me get this. It's dividing Satan's kingdom. This is Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. And that's what's going on when Trump gets up there and he starts talking shit about NATO, about how they're just being a bunch of bums. Okay? That's pretty much Satan's kingdom casting out Satan, right? It's Edomite nations casting out Edomite nations, in a sense. Alright? He is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay, so how is this kingdom going to stand up when America's top allies say, you know what, we're done dealing with you. We're done dealing with you. We want something else. Okay? But then when they do that, we know how America's going to react, and that's what's going to cause these 10 horns, right? These NATO nations, these EU nations primarily. Okay, to attack this place, man. Okay, because America's not just gonna take Europe separating itself from America lightly. Okay, we know how this devil is. If you don't like it, you get sanctioned. And if that doesn't work, if you don't like it, we bring the military. Okay, it's like a big bully. That's why the scriptures say that it's the hammer of the earth. Okay? That's why all these nations have missiles, man. Okay, it's for this purpose. For when they turn against Babylon the Great, for when they turn against the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay, here it is. America's over here on the fucking Western Hemisphere. The Western fucking Hemisphere, man. Alright? And they get themselves involved with shit no matter where it is. Anywhere across the world. Okay? America's always gotta stick their nose in everybody's business, man. Like a bully, like the hammer of the earth. Okay? Even the smallest nations. Whenever they do something America doesn't like, they just get picked on. Alright? Well, scriptures say that let the weak say I am strong. These smaller nations, they're not going to take this shit much longer, man. Okay? So I can hit the wrong. Okay, let's read this. This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that blew up the coals and the fire, which is those nuclear scientists. Okay? Nuclear scientists creating these weapons for what purpose? To destroy this place, man. And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Okay? And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the Lord, and their righteousness is with me. Okay? So the Lord created the weapons of his indignation to take this place out, man. Okay? To take this place out. To create the lake of fire, which we are in right now. We're living in the lake of fire, man. You got Israelites out there saying that America ain't the lake of fire, man. But those clowns, those two clowns, those Genesis clowns, alright? Those guys are a couple clowns, man. I hate to use ad hominem attacks, but those guys are a couple clowns, man. They don't know what they believe. They keep switching shit up. You know? Next week it'll be something else, and next month it'll be another change in the doctrine. They're just completely and utterly full of fucking shit, man. Okay? You're living in the lake of fire, man. This is where the Israelites are held in captivity, man. Okay? This is where the Lord is gonna avenge the prophets. How is the Lord gonna avenge the prophets? Not just by delivering them, but by destroying Esau's kingdom, which is here, which is in Babylon the Great, man. Which is where the lake of fire, is gonna be, man. I mean, it's so ridiculous, and it's so easy to put together, man. I think listening to all those Edomite scholars made you guys fucking stupid, man. Either that or you got serious spirits or serious wallets, okay? Them wallets probably got a lot fatter, okay? Because you guys are making the marks of a sellout, man. You keep constantly changing shit. Alright? Almost to the point where y'all ain't even Israelites no more. Okay, but with that, until next time, hope you all were edified and informed. Alright? Keep in mind, Okay, that, you know, we're pretty much entering the beginning of sorrows, man. Okay, so just like these people, the world got to go through it. Even though we're excited for the kingdom, we got to go through things on this side too. All right. So with that, till next time, shalom.